Great. Thank you.
I just clicked it, so recording has begun. Thanks for reminding me, Catherine, and thanks for working on that with Paul Condon. Paul Knitter, would you like to begin?
Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. I really appreciate this opportunity to share a meditation that Kathy and I have led for our little Madison Sangha. Kathy, by the way, is with her mother and two sisters this weekend. They're having a kind of a girls' weekend, Cornell girls' weekend. She sends her regards. Yes, this is, as I said, a meditation that we've led here in Madison. And it focuses on access points. As we all know, one of the most distinguishing characteristics of our practice, sustainable compassion practices, is found in its emphasis on the importance and the power of access points to our deeper awareness. Tibetan Buddhists have realized through their own experience over the centuries that the nature of mind, or our deeper awareness, contains resources of wisdom and compassion. And within our own awareness, therefore, there are resources that can provide us, that are able to provide us with a sense of warmth, compassion, capacity, safety. But we need access points, as we know, to this deeper awareness. Experiences are situations that will make present to us what is always there, always available. So today I would like to offer a kind of interfaith dialogue on this aspect of our practice. And this is, of course, certainly in line with one of the other characteristics of our practice, namely to share and to learn from contemplative practices and teachings in other spiritual traditions. I'll be doing this morning by drawing on the teachings of a Christian theologian who was also a colleague and I know a very close personal friend of John McCranskey in the theology department at Boston College, Father Michael Himes, who passed away in June of last year. Father Himes, drawing on his Christian tradition and language, describes the importance, even the necessity, of what he calls the sacramental principle. As I think most of you know, sacraments play a deep role in the ritual life of Christians, especially for Roman Catholics. Catholics have 7 sacraments, Protestants have 2, but sacraments are vital for all Christians. Well, Father Himes describes the sacramental principle, and I'm quoting him here. The sacramental principle means that what is always and everywhere the case must be noticed, accepted, and celebrated somewhere, sometime. Or in another quotation from Father Himes on the sacramental principle, what is always and everywhere true must be brought to our attention and be embraced in some concrete experience at some particular time and place. That's the sacramental principle. We need sacraments, that is, concrete experiences at some particular time and place that bring to our awareness or enable our acceptance and trust of that which is always and everywhere present and available. And in our practice, that's what access points do. They bring to our attention, to quote Father Himes, or to our concrete experience, what is always available, but usually unnoticed, or so often unnoticed in our own awareness. Access points, I think, can be compared to and maybe more deeply appreciated as sacraments. In our practice, we find such access points or sacraments, as again, we all know, in a field of care. Though we often may not recognize it, we live our lives in a field of care. We encounter caring moments or caring situations in which we, if we're paying attention, experience being cared for or loved, situations in which we receive or are inspired to give love and compassion. So in our meditation this morning, we're going to try to recall such sacramental caring moments. Moments as they have come to us in three different ways: in other persons or living beings, so in other persons or living beings, in places, or in what Lama John calls spiritual figures. Using our imagination and really opening our feelings, we'll try to recall and re-inhabit each of these sacraments of our field of care: persons, places, spiritual figures. We want to sink into them and feel deeply how they affect us. The sense of being loved and held in compassion, the sense of security and safety which they enable us to feel, and which is always there, always present to us in the depths of our awareness. They are access points or sacraments to what Buddhists call our Buddha nature and to what Christians call our Christ nature, or in St. Paul's terms, our being in Christ Jesus. So we begin with the triple refuge. Please just repeat after me. You're all muted, but you'll hear yourself. We take refuge in the expanse of space. We take refuge in the expanse of space. We take refuge in primal awareness. We take refuge in primal awareness. We take refuge in unconfined capacity compassion. We take refuge in unconfined capacity. So sit in a relaxed way with your back comfortably straight, eyes gazing gently downwards. And let your thinking mind drop into and rest in your body. Let your breath settle into its own natural rhythm while breathing into the abdomen and feeling your tummy expand on each inhale. Be aware of your abdomen expanding and contracting with each breath. If your mind wanders, Notice it and let the feeling of the abdomen expanding with each breath like a magnet draw you back to it. Let yourself be one with your breath. Let your breath do the knowing. We receive now the sacrament of caring persons or beings. Recall a moment with another being that brings you joy to remember, or just feels heartwarming when you recall it. A moment when someone was happy just to be with you. A moment when you felt that they were recognizing your deep worth, or just really listening to you, or radiating warmth to you, wishing you well. Another human being or a loving animal. Or it can be someone who has been a source of life and acceptance of love and life throughout your life. Someone whom you are truly grateful to have had in your life. Someone who perhaps inspired or blessed or uplifted you by their presence, their way of being, their mentorship. Imagine that person as being here right now with you. Bring this to mind not just as a memory or an abstraction, but as taking place right now, right here, with you. You are being seen. You are being seen as deeply worthy of love and care, beyond any judgments you or others may have of yourself. Let yourself relax into this felt sense of loving energy. Let yourself feel its tender qualities. And let these qualities infuse your whole being. Accept this loving energy and its qualities into your whole body and mind, into every part of your body, into every layer of feeling or emotion. Every part of you, of who you are, loved in its very being. We receive now the sacrament of caring places. Bring to your memory and imagination a moment when you were in a place special to you, where you felt deeply safe or well or at peace. A place in nature, a place where you looked out on the ocean perhaps, or beheld a sunrise or sunset. A flower garden, the sweep of a forest in summertime or in winter, white-clad splendor. Or such a caring place might also be in your home, present or past, where you could just sit and be at ease, secure, at peace. Maybe in a special chair, before a fire, on the deck. Bring to mind some such place and be there in it right now. Let yourself relax into the felt sense of this moment and place, steeping in its loving warmth, feeling its tender qualities, letting them infuse your whole being. Just sit and be there. You are at peace in this place, secure, fully present to its warmth and sense of well-being. Again, trust and accept this loving energy into your whole being, every part of your body, into every layer of feeling and emotion. Again, every part of you held in warmth, held in well-being, safe, Finally, we receive the sacrament of caring spiritual figures. Bring to mind a spiritual figure, or perhaps a group of such figures, from your own tradition or from your own experience. Someone who embodies or exemplifies for you a life lived in extending love to and receiving love from others. A person or persons who are deeply meaningful to you, who hold you and your world in unconditional care, compassion, and wisdom, such as Buddha, or Jesus, or Tara, or Mary, or maybe the Dalai Lama, Bishop Tutu. Imagine this person, this spiritual figure, with you right now, in front of you, regarding you, radiating love, compassion, and wisdom. Look at them. Let them look at you. Let their love, their trust, not only hold you, but let it animate you and continue on in you, as you. Abide with, abide in your spiritual figure. And let your spiritual figure abide in you. Let the Buddha be you. Let the Christ be you. And now just relax deeply into the felt sense of love, warmth, and acceptance that you have accessed through these different caring moments and figures. And that is always already present. Allow your heart and mind to trust, to deeply relax, releasing all of its frameworks, all of its images and thoughts. Allowing your heart and mind to be completely open, open like space. Relax into this spaciousness. Allow yourself simply to be in this spacious silence. Let this total openness of awareness do the meditating. If any thoughts or feelings arise, just let them unwind. Let them release within this utterly open awareness. This space of deep acceptance. Letting everything be just as it is. Rest in this openness. Be this openness. Rest in this awareness. Be this awareness. Rest in this compassion. Be this compassion. Rest. Abide. Trust. Rest. Abide. Trust. Though you're all muted, you can pray with me together the dedication of merit. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are fully illumined and awakened. John, we have just about 15 minutes or so. Maybe we can just open it up for any comments or experiences, insights, difficulties, or whatever. Shall we do that? Or
Sure, that sounds good. We have a little more than 10 minutes.
Hmm.
Yeah, thanks for that, Paul.
Yeah.
So any comments from the experience of the practice, or any questions or things that could be shared? Because we find that pretty much whenever anybody raises anything from their experience of the practice, it's enormously helpful for the rest of us. So it's really an act of generosity that's really appreciated. And shyness is just not that important right now. Sharing is much more important, I feel. So please feel free, but also in your own time. So, Mindy?
First, I wanted to thank you, Paul. I think your voice and your cadence were an access point for me just in themselves this morning. And what came up for me was a memory that I hadn't thought about at all, especially in relation to this practice. And it was a sacrament in a way. I'd never thought of it, that was shared with a patient of mine. I'm a retired oncology nurse, and I coordinated a survivorship program, and my office was situated in a library for patients. And right outside my visual field was a stone bowl that I had. And there was a sign that invited patients to write a blessing or take a blessing home. And there was a woman who came as a caregiver for her sister who was getting chemotherapy infusions. And she was First Nation, a Native American woman. And she would find me every time she was on her way in, because she didn't know how to read or write. But she wanted to write a blessing for her sister. And she was just the most amazing being. And she let me share the sacrament with her. And it was just palpable how she trusted the space of open awareness and the wisdom and the compassion. But what she taught me too was how she trusted the energy that's there. And I didn't sense agenda in her, but just a trust in its healing abilities, And I remember how happy I was when she came and told me her sister's treatment was successful. And I was sad to think I wouldn't see her, but I was so grateful that your practice today reminded me she's still so present for me, and that edge of exploring that energy that's in that space, I think, and how she didn't resist the present moment, which walking into a chemo infusion room is a difficult thing, and so that's what came up for me. And I just want to thank you so much. It'll stay with me. So.
Thank you, Mindy. Thank you. Yeah, oftentimes, at least for me, it's the example of other people trusting and letting go that can really touch me, and call forth my own trust. Yeah.
Rachel?
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Rachel.
Thank you so much. Really beautiful. I really appreciated the at least my experience of the receiving of the sacrament and that what that meant for me in terms of just the level of receptivity that is. And it was just a really beautiful, just really put me in a place of deep receptivity, that kind of openness that I imagine is necessary for that. And also it just really, that really triggered for me just the real experience of space and spaciousness, how that pervades our experience. And I had a really clear experience of how any boundaries that were between myself and what I felt like I was receiving were of my own making. So imaginary.
Mhm.
So thank you. That was really beautiful.
Mhm. Thank you, man. Thank you very much, Rachel. It's just interesting. This, you mentioned just that terminology, receiving the sacrament. I mean, that's standard terminology in my background. You receive Holy Communion, you receive the sacrament. That's what you're receiving, a testimony, an example of what is always there. The sacrament isn't causing anything; it's just putting you in touch. You're receiving it, and the openness. So sometimes just language can become just so fertile. Yeah, thank you.
I use the phrase that rather than receiving the sacrament opens the possibility of becoming receptive to what's always been here.
Yeah, that's it.
Camera?
Yeah, thank you, Paul. That was so beautiful. I really appreciated also that the space you allowed in this whole practice. I also want to just mention for you, for maybe to speak for something that other people are feeling as well, that bringing in the Christian element opened up something that allowed me to connect that. In my background, I was raised by my grandfather, who was a minister in a congregational church.
Wow.
And literally he would be handing me the sacrament. My dear grandfather, who I adored, would be the one who would hand me the sacrament. And so I was visualizing, and it was like I was there. I remember him handing me the wafer. And I haven't thought of that in so long. And it also reminded me of this enormous, huge painting in the front of the church of Jesus Christ. And he had a mudra. He was doing mudras. And it was an incredible presence in that painting. And at the end of the service, my grandfather would go to the back of the church and do a blessing prayer over everyone in the room. And I mean, I just realized those were sacred moments. And when you say that this moment, this practice as a sacrament, it's like sacred moment. This moment that we have, that we in this practice is, and it's a reminder that we live in a sacred world. And it just sort of opens up that whole Buddhist concept of sacred world and sacred moment. And I just thought I would share that. It was just, I had this sort of unveiling of the beauty of it all. And I just really appreciated it. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Tamara. Thank you. Grateful to your grandpa.
Because he was faithful to you. Catherine?
I really appreciated this very much. And I just want to say two things. One is I always felt, but never quite trusted, a definition that many years ago, I don't know, 30 years ago, was said to me as a sacrament is a celebration of what already is.
Yeah.
And it had to erode so much other stuff. But the second thing I want to say is that these practices are so powerful in my life. And today I recalled something that occurred 48 years ago. And what's hard to speak about is, and is still actually happening in this moment, is the somatic release that occurred during the practice and is continuing to unravel
Wow.
in me, that opens up the field of a deep trust, non-judgment, and love. And I mean, it's still happening.
Yeah.
And it really hits me too, if I go to my head, which I'm doing right now, is redemption is now.
Yeah. Yes.
Salvation is now. This is it right now. It's ongoing. And I so appreciate it. I appreciate these practices. I appreciate these Tibetan teachers. I appreciate, John, what you've done to translate them and open them up. Paul, your life's work, all of our life's work. But it was very powerful for me. I wept my way through the whole meditation.
Mm.
So it tells me something's going on. So I just wanted to thank you for these Saturday sessions and all that it takes. So thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Catherine.
Catherine.
So I never know what to do at this moment. Catherine Rochford, really want to hear from you, and there are 2 minutes left. I'm not sure ever what to do with that.
I can be very, very brief.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah. Well, whatever. Please go ahead.
Thanks. I also just was so deeply emotionally moved by the way you just led us through those practices, Paul. And what was so new for me is the staging, moving from caring moment to place to benefactor, was so powerful. So thank you for that. And something that just keeps coming up for me is something, John, you said, I think a while ago, that you are held in that which you seek.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you put it, John? Do you remember?
Yeah, we're already held in that which we're seeking.
Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's really where I'm like landing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. Thank you all so much for depth of your practice. And Paul, really thank you. That was very nice.
And just remember Michael Himes, just in gratitude for his life. You know, he touched so many people, including you, John. I know.
Yeah.
Just a wonderful human being. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks so much for connecting from him right into all that you did this evening. So really great. Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, John.
Thank you more than words can express.
Hi, Rachel. Nice to see you.